we're in a financial bust, and I think you agree with me when I say that. What would be your sense as to how long it's going to be before this financial bust, ends and economic activity that's more normal starts to resume? Is this something that is coming soon, or is it going to be a few years yet, or perhaps even longer?
I wish I could be an optimist, James, but the problem is our policymakers don't really understand the discipline that's required. And I understand the position that they're in because, as Henry Kaufman said at our symposium back in 1999, and he was asked, what we should do about it today. And he said, he looked at the interviewer in his eye and he said, the Fed missed its timing. So in other words, the Fed had screwed up so badly, even from 1996 to 99, by not doing the right thing earlier and not, imposing the discipline that was required back earlier. And so what he must be thinking today, after another 12 years of kicking the can down the road and essentially enacting all the wrong policies and creating more and more and more, reckless credit extension, it makes the aftermath all the worse. And therefore, I feel for them because the hangover that we're going to have to go through is going to be so pronounced and so ugly, it just boggles my mind.
Yeah, the best way to prepare for that as an individual would be to own gold and silver?
Well, I think to reduce your equity exposure, own gold and silver, protect yourself as best you can, enjoy life as much as you can in the interim. I mean, you certainly can't go live in a cave, but tell your friends about it.
Yeah, reduce exposure to the U.S. dollar?
Yes, people don't realize that they think they spend their money and they earn their money in dollars and they think they're okay. However, we import so many goods today, and the prices are likely to go up a lot with the U.S. dollar falling. I mean, there's likely to be a massive currency event that's going to change the world that we live in.
The Scottish historian Neil Ferguson said that the U.S. He said that U.S. government bonds, although they're perceived to be a safe haven, they're a safe haven like Pearl Harbor in 1941. Yeah. I guess that's something you agree with.
I would agree with that.
So you would avoid U.S. government bonds and T-bills as well?
I definitely would.
Is there any currency that you see as a refuge other than gold and silver? I mean, is there any national currency that you think is better than others, or are they all basically in a rough, tough position?
Well, we started the Prudent Global Income Fund that's been renamed the Federated Prudent Dollar Bear Fund. And although I don't really have a relationship with the fund anymore, that was a fund I founded in 2000, because I saw the decline in the U.S. dollar ahead. Mm-hmm. We actually own gold stocks in this fund as well. Mm-hmm. And we're invested in the Canadian dollar, the Norwegian krona, we're invested in the Swiss franc. We're invested in a basket of currencies, and I think it's unfortunately going to be such a tough time because just like in the 1930s where we experienced competitive currency devaluation, I mean, you see that today. The Swiss, are announcing that they don't want people rushing into the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc has levitated. You see, Brazil and a number of other countries that are trying to, reduce, flows to their currency because they're seeing too much appreciation.
Imposing capital controls to prevent the money from coming into the country.
Right.
Or, it's interesting, back in the late 70s, the Swiss actually put on a negative interest rate. So if you had money deposited in a bank, they actually took the interest out of your account at the end of the year, in effect. But I read in the paper this morning that I think it was Mellon Bank, Bank of New York Mellon, that was starting to impose large fees if you're looking for safety because they were viewed as a custodian bank and didn't have a lot of credit exposure. Mm-hmm. So you've really got some really weird things happening, which I guess is a sign that things are spinning out of control.